one good day. We are in Algebra covering PO10 Part 1, solving multi-step equations. But before we get to that, we're going to make sure that we're all squared away with two-step and go back and correct PO9. So I want to go up here. Your job was to do these 8 and then 2 at the bottom. I did. The downside of correcting these is that I have to do the homework too. But I did it, so I can quickly, easily put them up here. Okay, this first one, add 4 to both sides, divide by 12. N ends up being 5. Second one, you should get negative 18. Third one, 4.5, which if you wrote 4.5 or even 9 halves, any of those are okay. The next one is 9. Second row, 50. Then 54, then 1/2 or 0.5, and then 99. 99. I will be completely honest with you. I did try and troll you on 3 of these because the human mind likes to make connections, right? It's all about looking for those connections. And so in this one, last one in the first row here, n divided by 3 plus 12 equals 15. Your first step would have been to subtract 12, right? Move that constant over. And that would give you n divided by 3 equals 3. Ooh. Hold on just a second here. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So when you're in this situation here, n divided by 3 equals 3, if you put 1 down, then you fell for my trap, okay? Because your brain sees the 3's, it sees the division, and it thinks 3 divided by 3. When in fact, you need to multiply both sides by 3 because that's the opposite of dividing, okay? We're dividing n by 3, so the opposite, we're going to multiply, and that's how you get n equals 9. If you did put 1, then you should have caught yourself when you checked it, right? Because 1 divided by 3 is a third, and a third plus 12 doesn't get you to 15, okay? The second one I did that with was this one here, another division one. You subtract 2 from both sides, you get n divided by 18 equals 3. If you put 6, you fell for it, okay? It should be 54 because you multiply both sides by 18 to get n by itself, and that's how you get that 54. The third one, my third attempt at a troll was this question here. When you add 18 to both sides to cancel it out, you get 18n equals 9, and your brain thinks 2, right? Because it knows you should divide. It sees the 18, it sees the 9, it jumps to 2. However, you're dividing by 18, and 9 divided by 18, or 9/18, is equal to 1/2. Okay, which again, you should have caught yourself when you checked it, and that's why we do check our answers in case we make those mistakes. Then we can fix them. Soybean. Why did you try to troll? That's part of my job. Yeah. Any questions on these 8? Okay, the bottom 2, where you had to set up the equation yourself and then solve it, giving 3 different situations, 3 different values for the variable. So you're collecting baseball cards. You've got 30 from your parents, and then you're going to a store with 3 of your friends, and you're going to divide however many you buy among the 4 of you. Okay, this was kind of the key here. Divide them evenly among the 4 of you. What did you come up with for your equation that you would use to plug these values in? Brent? N divided by 4 plus 30. Very good. N divided by 4 plus 30. Okay, the N representing the total number of cards, or the number of cards you get at the store, divided among the 4 of you, and then whatever that gets you, those are your cards from the store, but then you add the 30 that your parents gave you. Another option would be 1/4 n plus 30, because multiplying by 1/4 and dividing by 4 achieve the same thing, just like dividing by 2 and multiplying by 1/2. So either of those would be correct. So for 40 cards, you've got 40 divided by 4, which is 10, plus 30, you have a total of 40 cards in your collection. If your group gets 96 cards, 96 divided by 4 is 24, plus 30, you'd have 54. And 224 divided by 4 is what? 70. Oh, I wrote it down. 56 plus 30 gives you 86 cards in all. So 40, 54, and 86 were your three answers there. The bottom one, scuba diver. The pressure of the surface of the water is 2,117 pounds, and it increases at a rate of 64 pounds per square foot for each foot the diver descends. What did you come up with for an equation to give you the total poundage of pressure based on how deep you go? Gabby? 2117 plus 64n. You could have 64n plus 2117. Either one's fine. Yes, that would be correct, because that 2117, that's where things start. That's your constant. Okay, and from there, the pressure is increasing at a rate of 64 pounds per square foot. So, Abby.
117 plus 16.
So you put the variable with the wrong thing, okay? And what you're looking for here is that 64 pounds per square foot. That word per is kind of a connecting word between the coefficient and the variable, okay? But this 2117 being at the surface of the water, you haven't gone anywhere yet, and it's going to be that pressure at that level, whether you go down 2 feet or 12 feet or 25 feet. Okay, so that 2117 is not affected by how deep you go, because that's at the surface. This 64 pounds per square foot changes based on how deep you go, because the deeper you go, that's the rate at which the pressure is increasing. So that word per was kind of your hint there. So 10 feet, you should have gotten 2,757. At 25 feet, the total pressure is 3,717. And at 150 feet, we've got 11,717. Okay? Questions on anything to do with PO9? Okay. Onward and forward to PO10, which is multi-step equations, which is basically anything more than 2. Yeah, it is actually fun. Yes. Number game? No, not everyone got their work done today. So there are basically 3 types of multi-step equations that you are going to see. Combining like terms and the distributive property. I'd like to get through those 2 today, and we'll save variables on both sides for tomorrow. But in either case, hopefully, especially after doing PO9 and having 2-step equations before, a 2-step equation should be kind of like your comfort zone. Okay? Once you get to a 2-step equation, I want you to be so confident in the steps to solve it that it's just a second thought. Okay? So if more practice is needed with 2-step equations, that's totally fine. But that's where I kind of want to get you to. So combining like terms, the goal is to simplify by combining like terms to create a 2-step equation. That's where we want to get to. Okay? Simplify by combining like terms to get to that 2-step equation. And what I mean by combining like terms is to basically just, shorten the equation up a little bit. Who's got that aunt or an uncle maybe that whenever this person tells a story, it just goes on and on and on, and they're telling details that really don't matter. So like, get on with it. Okay? We can see that in like an equation too. 9x minus 4x plus 3 equals 43. What are the like terms that we can combine in that equation? What are the like terms? 9x and negative 4x, right? Instead of saying, well, I've got 9 x's, that I take away 4 of them. No, just tell me how many x's you have. You got 5 of them, right? 9x minus 4x equals 5x. Okay? And then we have our constant of 3, and that equals 43. Why can't we combine 5x and 3 to get 8x? Get even simpler, right? 5x plus 3. Why can't we combine that to get 8x? Erica? Because 5 has an x, and 3 does not. True. Thumper? Right? Again, yep, 3 does not have an x. So kind of like fractions, to the whole common denominator piece, we're kind of looking for that here too. Terms with the same variable, okay, which 3 doesn't have an x. We can't combine it. Any other reasons why we cannot add 3 to 5x to get 8x? PERMDAS, order of operations, right? We've got to multiply what 5x is first before we add 3. That multiplication comes before the addition, okay? So why could we do it here? Well, if we have 9 of something and you take away 4 of that same thing, we are able to simplify that. But without this having an x there, without a variable, that multiplication has to come first. Anyway, we're at a 2-step equation now. My tie was turned around, so I don't know if you heard any of that or just, oh, okay. So now we're at a 2-step equation. Subtract 3 from both sides. We get 5x equals 40. Divide both sides by 5 to undo multiplying x by 5, and x equals 8. X equals 8. Okay. Next one. What are the like terms we can combine? Gabby. 8n and negative 11n. What does that work out to be? Negative 3. 8 minus 11, negative 3. N plus 2 equals 29. We don't use opposite operations there because we're not moving anything from one side of the equation to the other, right? Everything is staying on the same side. We're just combining what we are able to. So we don't use opposite operations when we simplify because we're not moving anything from one side of the equation to the other. We're now at our 2-step equation. Subtract 2, negative 3n equals 27. Divide by negative 3, and n equals negative 9. Okay. Last one. Give me something we can combine. Soybe. The negative 10n and the negative 2n. Yes, those signs do stick with them. And what do we get? Negative 10 minus 2. Negative 12n. What else can we combine? But wait, there's more. Elise. Our constants. Okay. 7 and 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. And that equals negative 122. Shorten the story, right? Simplify that equation. We're at a 2-step, so we're subtract 10 from both sides. That gives us negative 12n equals negative 132. Divide both sides by negative 12. And positive 11 is our value for n. Okay. Questions on that? Fun, yes?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
That was really fun. I had a good
Okay. The second type of simplifying we're going to talk about today is the distributive property. And you'll know you're dealing with the distributive property when you see parentheses. Okay. And I'm going to preface this by saying there are other ways to get rid of the parentheses other than what I'm about to show you. And so if you take this home and you're talking with your friends or your parents or your siblings, say, well, why did you do that? Why not just go like this? Okay. There are other ways to do it. However, I do want you to learn or practice this property today, which is why I am asking you to use this property today. Okay. The goal of the distributive property is simply to remove the parentheses. To again create that two-step equation. Remove the parentheses to create a two-step equation. So with this first one here, 7 times, in parentheses, 3n minus 5 equals 7. Tell me what we're going to be distributing into the parentheses. Lauren, that's 7. And what operation are we using when we distribute? Yeah. We're multiplying. Because what this is saying is that we've got 7 groups of 3n minus 5, right? What's in this parentheses here, we've got 7 of them. So if we've got 7 3n's, that's a total of 21 n's. 7 groups of 3n is a total of 21 n. 7 groups of negative 5, or 7 negative 5s, give us negative 35. Okay? So you're distributing into everything in the parentheses, multiplying, and then we're able to remove them. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute now, that 7 doesn't have an n, how come I can combine it with the 3n? Right? The reason is because we're multiplying here. Just like with multiplying and dividing fractions, you don't need those common denominators. Kind of the same thing here. You don't need those like terms when you multiply or divide. But now we're at a two-step equation. So add 35 to both sides. 21n equals 42. Divide both sides by 21, and n is 2. Okay? Review? Still kind of? Excellent. What are we distributing into the parentheses in the second one here? What gets distributed into the parentheses? Elise? Well done, Elise. I tried to troll you, but you got me. Yeah, it is that negative 2, not positive 2. That sign belongs to the number. The 7 just comes down. We're not using it yet. Negative 2 times n is a negative 2n. Negative 2 times negative 6 is a positive 12. Right? It's that negative 2 belongs to it. We get positive 12, and that equals 39. Why can't we combine 7 and 2 out front to get 5? I was really hoping that someone would say 5, and I could. But why can't we do that? Gabby? Yep. This is saying that we've got negative 2 groups of n minus 6, and if we combine those, now we only have 5 groups of n minus 6. That's not what the equation says. Also, order of operations. It all comes back to that. Okay, we cannot subtract here before we take care of that multiplying. We're not at a two-step equation though. We've got some like terms we can combine. 7 and positive 12, both constants. Negative 2n plus 19 equals 39. Subtract 39 from subtract 19 from both sides. Negative 2n equals 20. Divide both sides by negative 2, and n equals negative 10. Okay. That third one. What are we distributing into the parentheses? 0, 1, 2, 3. Evan? Evan, you're right. It is a negative 1. Okay, a negative 1, not positive 1. That sign separates the 3t. It's not 3t either, right? Because that subtraction sign separates the 3t from the parentheses. We're not multiplying 8 minus 2t by 3t. We're multiplying it by negative 1, even though that 1 isn't actually written there. Okay, you got me again. So that 3t just drops down. Really, all that happens when we distribute in the -1 is the signs change, right? -1 times 8 is a -8. And -1 times a -2t is a positive 2t. And that equals 12. So we look for like terms, 3t and 2t, 5t minus 8 equals 12, and we have ourselves a two-step equation. Start with that constant, add 8 to both sides, 5t equals 20, divide by the coefficients, 20 divided by 5, our value for t is 4. Okay? Well done, folks. I try to set some traps for you, but you got your way through them pretty easily. Questions on that? Okay. Your homework for tomorrow, it's going to be fairly light, I think. It's going to be 7 questions. If you flip a couple pages, you'll get to PO10 Part 2 here. We'll get to variables on both sides tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so PO10 Part 2. I would like you to do the 7 that I'm going to star. We'll do the first one, the second one, skip the third one, skip the fourth, and we'll do this one. So those 3 in the first 2 rows here. No, we'll save those for tomorrow. So those 3 of the first 6, and then in the next section here, let's go this one. I should star. I should start the other one. That one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I said 7, right? That would make 7. Nah, I said 7. I said 7. Okay? So Ivy. Yes, do the starred ones. Homework for tomorrow, just the starred ones. If you want to work ahead and do others, that's your choice. But for tomorrow, just the starred ones. Okay? You've got, oh my goodness, 12 minutes to work on them now. Make sure all of your work is shown. Okay, you folks did a really nice job showing it on PO9, so keep that up. Yes, you do need to check your work as well. Okay. All right, folks, that's how you math.